ahead, start working with your rod.
I'll take care of it. I'm gonna move it around. So what I did, if these were and then I just started
And so we know that the amount of preserve is the red portion of it.
my question is,
So trying to explain this in a way that a science person can understand it. This is hard.
Well, it doesn't have to be any science, you know.
Okay.
okay, I need, show me with, if I can have your finger, please. Show me with your finger how many more minutes you need. One more minute.
Be careful, Ashley. Your chair, like,
Oh, I'm
this
sorry.
wire, this person's.
Sorry.
No, I mean, it's fine. I just.
Hi.
Hey, I'm gonna grab a pencil over here.
I would not put that surge protector on because that could fly out at any time. I'm more worried about your computer.
Oh no,
That's kind of cool, but
I'm gonna make a workstation.
Yeah.
Because at first we were looking for a house.
So this thing's your head.
there's an outlet behind you.
The cord's long enough to reach the floor.
If you come up to the behind where that faucet is up on the wall, back that way. See that plug up on the wall? That might be the best way. Then nobody's walking over there. You see how you have the physics thing?
Yeah.
One time backwards. Punch out of the glass and put it in the punch bowl.
Okay, I need,
Is there anything at all?
No, 2 and 2 thirds. So 2 and 2 thirds.
how do I turn on the yellow? One button.
I mean, oh, you have to do this thing over. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have one of you come up and demonstrate I'm gonna have one of you come up and demonstrate to the class how you got your answer for the question, which is on your sheet. It's not up there anymore because the Elmo is up there. So I think I'll let Christine, isn't it? Come up.
Okay, the English teacher gets to go first.
Yes.
All right.
Be proud.
Okay, don't laugh, okay? And versus words, all right?
Good. Then just quickly explain.
You're in a safe environment in the school.
We all love each other.
Okay. So, with my English teacher brain, where's all my stuff? All right. I got 8 kids. Okay. So, I have my 8 little childrens. They were each served 2/3 of a cup. So I took my white ones.
Hey, it's hard to tell. Could you tell me what color you have for your 8?
Oh, it's the green ones,
So
the
one
light
that
green
was
ones.
So are those representing children?
Kind of both children and cups. Okay, because it said to use the light green ones to represent the cups.
So children and cups are equivalent?
Well, in my mind for this, yes, because each kid, this is a kid, and it's split up into 3 sections,
So they're representing children.
2/3 of a cup. You can't really see that.
So it's a cup or a child.
Well,
The only reason I'm doing this is not to pick on you, but it's a language issue.
okay, no, I understand.
Okay.
In this case, then each of these would represent a child.
Okay, so they're children. Okay.
So then each kid got 2/3 of a cup. Does that help?
Thank you.
Yes.
All the way to the top of the page.
Alright. So I put these,
And what are those?
these are 2/3 of a cup,
So those are 2/3 of a cup.
on each of my kids.
So each child is getting 2/3 of a cup.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Okay, so then to figure out how many cups altogether, I took the white ones,
Uh-huh.
that's 1 cup. The
And
white,
why is that
the
1
white
cup?
is 1 cup. Because
What's
if
the-
this kid, this is 2/3 this is 2/3 of a cup,
Okay,
then one of the whites would be 1/3 of a cup,
perfect.
okay? So I put 3 of them together to make 1 cup,
Okay.
and then I just kept doing that. So I have 5
5
and a third
what?
cups. 5 and a third
Five-
cups.
5 what?
5 and a third cups.
Thank you. Now, I'm not picking on you. When she said I have 5, we have lots of things going on in this problem. So were you talking about children, were you talking about cups? That's that language issue that Sandra and I focus on so much.
Sloppy.
Okay, very sloppy. So I'm gonna use that word, but okay. So you have 5 cups, because earlier, the 3 units together was a child. Okay? So now the 3 units together is a cup. Okay, Russell, are you gonna say something? Can you wait till the end? All right. So you have 5 and 1/3 cups. Did anybody do this? Thank you very much. Did anybody do this? Craig did it differently? Craig and Dan did it differently? Would you like to quickly come up and show us? And Dan is not a math person, Craig is actually science.
Craig's beyond that.
He does have a lot of, he's kind of like a pseudo math. So she is a math. Yeah. So did you let, Mr. Johnson do all the work?
Yes.
Good. Would you lie to me about that?
No, he explained it very well to me. I was like, wow.
Okay, all right, good. Okay,
You'll need to move them up on the white page, please.
Okay, yes. Okay, that represents 2/3 cups, and this represents 1 cup.
okay,
And so we said there's 8 students, so we were gonna need 8 of these 2/3 cups. So that's what we did, we got 8 of those,
okay.
and, oh, there's 8. And so we said, well, how are we gonna find out how much total we had? And we thought, well, maybe we should just put them all together, see what happens.
Okay,
And so we did. I said, okay, we got a whole bunch of cups here, and,
hang on a minute, how do you know that's a whole bunch of cups?
well, a whole bunch of partial cups, I guess. And we put them all together, and we said, well, what would it be like if we compared that to full cups?
Okay,
So we tried to find out how many full cups were the same length.
okay, would you remind the class what you were using to represent a cup?
The green Cuisinart rod is a full cup, 3 parts,
Okay,
whereas the red ones are only 2 parts.
okay,
And
thank you.
that was the 2/3 cup.
Bless you.
And so we put them both together, and we found out that we had to use 5 green Cuisinart rods and 1 white Cuisinart rod
Okay.
to equal the length of the red ones. And so we just counted, we ended up with 5 and
And what did
1/3.
you count?
We counted the green ones
Okay, and
as full cups
okay,
and ended up with 1/3 extra.
so how many full cups?
5.
So you have how much total?
5 and 1/3 cups.
5 and 1/3 cups, very good. Now, tell me what was important about how that was lit. Did I tell anybody anything?
No.
No. What did I do?
Ask the question.
I asked questions. When they came up here, what did I do while they were talking?
Clarified what they were talking about
How did I do that?
by asking them what each Cuisinart rod represented.
What does that represent? Kind of bothered me, the child in the cup, you know, where the same thing there, but that's okay. That's okay.
I'm an English teacher, it's all one.
So that's what you have to do. You have to have them justify what they've done and explain it fully. And I knew what he meant by we had 5, but somebody in the class may not have known that that was 5 cups as opposed to 5 children. All right? Okay, good. So I just hit the same button to go back? Yes.
Okay, the blue one?
All right. So that was the first activity. That was actually the engage in
Dr.
this
Browning.
activity. Yes, ma'am.
I like that you gave the opportunity for 2 different views, because when you have kids, they don't see it the same way. So the first way that some people might have gotten, and the second way, other people would have made a connection. So I like that you let them see it, because a lot of times kids think there's only one way, and if they don't get it, then they're wrong.
Thank you so much for bringing that up, Claudette. That's absolutely right. And I did ask who did it a different way, and thank goodness somebody else had. When nobody else does it a different way, then perhaps the teacher should do it a different way. Yes, sir.
Did each kid get a cup that was 2/3 full?
Did you hear his language?
No.
Say it again.
Did each kid get a cup that was 2/3 full? So how many cups were there?
8 cups, but how much punch there was would be 5 and 1/3 cups of punch.
Thank you.
That's why we love Russell.
I would put glass.
That's why we love.
Yeah, and
So that takes a kid in a glass or equivalent.
Yeah.
Yeah, with his language, a kid in a glass or cup are equivalent. Okay, next page. You should have this passed out as soon as the girls come over here and help me. Knowing what you learned on that little brief activity, this is a sheet that you're going to work on. Now, here's the key. You have to have a pictorial representation. So the first thing you're going to do is use your Cuisinart rods to represent each of those 3 situations. You're going to sketch those Cuisinart rods. Okay, then you're going to write a numerical representation and a solution.
One more.
So I do not want you to do this. I do not want you to say, I'll do the first one, you do the second. You have to do all of them together. All of them
And so, and it's also, kind of you said that.
So the first one, John's mother is making pizzas. She uses one cup for each pizza. If she makes 3 pizzas, how many pieces of cheese will she need? So we know 1 cup is 5. This is 5. So we need to define yeah.
I go through the.
No, it's fine.
Yellow and yellow. It's a pictorial representation.
It's 4, but we need 5. Because I'm trying to get it to where we know what 1 cup of cheese is. Yeah, I don't think we have that. Maybe this is 1, 2, 3. Yellow's 5.
It's all together.
Come on. Actually, we do. Okay. So this represents 1 pizza. This represents the cheese for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
4, 5. Okay, you have
Well, yeah, like roast beef, but this, no, but this stuff. This was this.
So then we have.
Weird.
Okay. Okay. So we know this. So these are holes, and we can't add anything. We both have. How many odds? This is odd shape.
Okay, we just need one.
Okay, so Mary Jewel represents 1 and 4 fits And so do we do the second one
Okay, well, so now what we can do is we know this, we can go back to, this is a full column. Okay, so now we just need these full columns go into this. My baby. We're gonna hope and pray that we can do this. Arm We would, in a classroom, we would need
So,
in the way we do things. That's to say, these two connect together. At the same time. So we could.
But we also like this is
It's just the same thing we did right here. It's just the same thing we did.
But for me, if that's a whole cup, that's why I wanted to use if we use the whole cup, then they're actually going to be able to count them as because they know each yellow block is 1 shot, 2, 3, 4. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like that would be easier for them to practice.
So we do that one, we didn't know about it. Then we
let me get a tissue real quick.
Okay, so there's that.
I guess I won't get a tissue.
This is a question.
Why don't we have it too?
Do we need to make everything
Well, if we go to the singles, you can explore beforehand that this is a 1/4 or 1/5. This is a 1/5. So like before you could demonstrate, here's a 5th or a 5 block. Well, no, this would be a 5 block. So we can put 5 of these, so that would be 1/5. And then so you have to put 2 at the end, so that would be 2/5.
Okay, okay. We're going.
And then you come home and say, 1,
2/5.
So when you're going through the process, is it something that, whenever you
Yeah.
So what do we do to stop it?
Oh yeah. So we had
one process that is going to teach them the best practices.
Either way, either of those two ways would work.
Oh, but those are the only choices? I found the
Either
yellow.
way, however they're thinking.
Now, one of the things that I was asking is we just
These colors in my class all the time, yellow out.
Sure.
So those are the yellows.
I went to Dr. CA. I mean, I understood, and my friends all understood. I mean, they all did and whatever. And when my older daughter, my older daughter,
because, okay.
go to Kansas for open house, and they have these little ones.
And you can draw that. You use the 10, I'm too impressed.
do red for the arrangements.
And that's 10. And then if they have that. We have 2 Oh, shit. I'm sorry, I just don't understand.
I didn't use it.
Add some more to the bottoms. It's up to you. Yeah, it's one of those things. Certain things that have the boxes.
Katy Perry, John Mayer, because they're dating.
The classes we could draw a central box. You know that the box is real good, divided in half.
Really?
Yeah, so they've got something this long, and they usually draw a line
just
halfway between.
don't want
It's very
our
good.
children
You can do another
to
half.
rely on this.
Have you ever wondered why we measure things
Because
like,
when
for
they get
instance,
up to,
in
I have a set of pencils where they need to be able to post before someone got a hold of them. And they don't have this to.
That's interesting.
not
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't rely on
Brings real good balance to
one
people.
type of drawing, no matter how to written the dead end.
Picture of it was actually, it was a new box.
They don't need to make it Egyptian designs until they make it.
To do test designs. Okay, that's the color.
So if the right number of the color, I know how to.
Okay.
Are you gonna make it?
Then we have our yellow box. So we have
I can't use it from that forward, and then I have to keep them together. So from that point on,
Before,
I had my names, and then there
Yeah.
verbal, because I was for my bigger pictures as a data. I know I have to, because helpers,
If they know the answer.
I have my sections, two sections, this particular subject, and those are out. Three sections for this subject, and those are out. And I have my sections that are
Part of it is,
it makes it much, much simpler.
it's basic writing, instead of, I used to have a lot of books, so very so I'm just trying to
I use green. So for number representation,
Because surveys we do on purpose of bringing writing, not what science and math teacher did. It's 7 and 8 graders.
this is one. Just could be one.
So we go to the next one.
use some of those tools to evaluate. So there's
And then here,
it's like, oh, yes, I have.
okay, so the number representation.
Yeah, she said.
How, instead of using a picture, how would you use, you saw that you could adjust. Yeah.
Yeah, she said, she has to check
Frustration of looking at it through business, so I know
Yeah.
that doesn't give a shit on any person, right?
Well, and that's what Conan did.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Do research papers, okay, we've done all right.
Yeah.
It's really all going to depend on my own text.
That really,
He's been in the news a lot, he's got arrested, so.
It's about time because, we just have to figure out some
he wants to give it
He was smiling.
but the final when they're
Something like that, I'm guessing. See, 'cause I don't know what exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so each pizza leaves 105. So we have 3 pizzas, so you're adding 145. So then you have to turn it into an improper fraction so that you can add it. Yeah, improper means that I have all these terms and it's so hard to know. So you have to turn it into an improper fraction. And he keeps asking me questions.
Did she tell you what an improper fraction?
Yeah.
And why is it using it?
Okay, so improper fraction is basically when the top number is bigger than the bottom number. And it's not proper because the fraction is a typical fraction is part of a whole. And so if a proper fraction is something that's part of a whole. And so 9 parts of 5, you can't have that. That doesn't make sense. Okay, so you make me nervous.
I know that. I have this effect. I don't know why. That's why I come to So I kind of know where you're different.
Okay. So,
But I think like a little kid.
okay, so the top number tells us how many parts of a whole. And this number is the total that we have. So, or that we could have. And so we could have up to 5 parts of this. Or, this cheese could be broken into up to 5 parts. But we have 9 parts. Yeah.
I'm visually.
Yeah. So our cheese could be separated. Okay, let's say this. The cheese could be into 5 piles. And we've got 9 piles. Yeah. So if we have 9 of 5 piles, then it doesn't make sense, right? So we actually have 4 extra piles.
One big. That's okay. So if we can take that. Then we have 9. Files.
Yeah, mine are really good.
That would have been 5 files at once.
When my doctor left.
Yeah. I can take mine.
Okay.
There we go.
But we have more than that one bag.
We've got another bag that's been opened already. Oh, we got 9 files.
There's our one song.
5 files. Wow.
We have 4 songs.
So that's
A
why.
whole other one. So I love it.
So that's why you get the 9
That's
bits
why
as
it's not
together.
proper.
Yes.
It's not properly a portion of a
Right.
whole.
So you have 3 of these improper fractions. To add fractions, you have to make sure that the denominator is the same. And that's true for this.
Fingers, how many minutes?
So all you have to do
the
is after
first 2, just the first 2. 2 minutes? We're kind of running out of time. So we're just gonna do the first.
And then you need to make it proper. And so once you do that, you get 5 minutes.
Figure out how many leaves and form nothing.
I said, girl, you have a snow day. It's okay. No, to me.
Is that a happy face or a not happy face?
I get tired. I wouldn't have allowed her to get it.
Yeah.
This is very helpful.
I had him as a professor. He was very helpful. Yeah. But he still makes me nervous.
I've been working with him.
No, but I couldn't not.
Well, about the first time.
I had to say something.
His wife is Dr. Olson. She's Dr. Olson. All on the phone. She
I mean,
means
another must know.
Dr. Olson.
but I can't call him.
Mr. Dr. Olson.
But I usually don't. I usually say, "Jeff?" Just because I can't.
Okay, you may not be quite through, but due to time, we need somebody to explain how they did on the first problem. I'm going to choose someone.
Or half? No, five.
So, how quickly can you explain the first problem? Quickly?
What do you call quickly?
Don't get up there and start writing an essay, okay?
Okay, Mr. Brown, come with it?
Yeah.
All right, because he has the pictorial.
All right, so Claudette and, are going to explain the first problem, which may be our only explanation for this section. While they're getting their things together and going up there, there was a huge discussion over here with the reading person. Do you want to mention a little bit about what we talked about? You want to mention a little bit what we talked about
I can't.
while they're gathering?
We were talking about the fact that we didn't know whether we were supposed to convert everything to fifths and then, transfer over, or how we were supposed to write the numerical representation. And so I called, I went, Miss, because that's what the kids do, Miss, come here, please. And said, how do you want that? Do you want, what was it, a 1 4/5 cup plus 1 4/5 cup plus 1 equals, or do you want it 1 4/5 cups times 3, or do you want it, what is it that you want? Or do you want it just in fifths? And she said, well, do it whatever way you want to do it, and then ask the students if they did it a different way. And I said, the reason I'm asking this is that I don't need these manipulatives. And I know that there are some students that don't need these. So what do you do about that? Are you asking them to go backwards? And she said, no, that's never, if they can explain. And I said, okay, that's what I want to know, because that's where the writing might come in. If you know without using these, then explain it to me. How you would use the concrete if you had to do it. And so that type thing might be where the writing would come into play. They're saying, I don't want to use those. I know the answer. Okay, explain to me. How'd you get that? How'd you get that answer? So those types of things are what we need to think about how to incorporate writing. And I want to allay your fears, because I saw some of your, that deer in the headlight look when Sandy was up talking about adding writing, and you're going, holy cow, you're asking us to teach writing too? Where our plates are full. And I don't think that is at all the objective here. It's using writing more, not teaching the writing. The ELA teachers will still teach the writing. What they're asking you to do is to make sure you incorporate more writing in your lessons, or identify when you're using writing in your lessons. So that, and perhaps evaluate that writing like the ELA teachers in your school evaluate it, so that there's some consistency in that evaluation, so the kids are getting the same feedback on their writing. Not teaching it, just using it. I think I know when I asked the math and science teachers in my school to use writing more, they were like, are you nuts? I'm not teaching writing. I teach math. I teach science. I have enough trouble. And I understand that. But it's just using it more. And there's a difference between writing to learn and writing to demonstrate. And we need to keep those kind of separated as well. So
how many of the math teachers have math journals in the class? Okay, many of you. In the math journals, when you ask them to write something in their journal, what are you asking them to do?
I was asked mine to explain, to put into words exactly what they did to solve the problem. And so that's kind of what Lisa and I did on our paper, is we actually did it in words. We took the 4/5 cup to, you know, because I have to model it because our kids aren't used to it. They haven't grown up with it yet, and so as a result, we have to model what it looks like, so I'm constantly modeling that writing piece in my classroom.
Okay. And the science teachers, y'all use journals as well?
Yep.
Okay, what do you have them do in their journals?
Explain and tell me the process they, you know.
Can you speak up,
Oh,
Jim?
explain and tell me the process they went through to draw the conclusion that they made. And I wanna know why they come to this conclusion.
Okay, here's my question. How many times a week, hang on, how many times a week do you have them write in those journals, and do you read them after every day? So some of you may have, 130 students a day? 50? Okay. So how many of you read those journals every day if you have them write in it every day?
I guess when we're walking around monitoring, that's about it, but not take their journal and read it unless I'm grading
But
it.
you do check each
I walk
child's
through the monitor
journal.
as I walk
Yeah.
through.
Yes, ma'am.
There's, my students, I try to get them to write every day. There's no way, even if my full-time job for reading journals, I could not get through it.
No.
But they can trade and read each other's.
Thank you, that's what I needed, I did. Thank you. So she's science, 8th grade, right?
Mhm.
How many students?
130.
130-something students as compared to, Lisa, how many you have?
26.
26. See, there's a difference there. So even if you don't have them write in it every day, when you do have them write in it, somebody needs to read it and make sure that it's accurate.
I don't remember who it was in the mix of that program, but they use exit slips. And when I need to know what you got out of this. After they close their journal, handing out an exit slip, and then having them summarize.
Which is
That's what I
excellent.
can grade.
If
Without
you-
having to take home 50 journals,
Yeah.
I can take 25 or 50
Excellent.
cards.
That's excellent if you actually read them every time they do them and ready the next day to clarify any misconceptions that they have. Because if you wait a week to read them, then they should have had those misconceptions, you know, for that week. And by then it may be solid in their heads. All right, Claudette, you're up.
Okay, so I want to say thank you for the way you guys have adjusted the training so people who are not science or math can understand it. Because I used to be here and it was going boom. So I was able to actually participate. Me and Mr. Brown know each other. He used to work with us. And we go to the same church, so we know each other.
Okay, good.
Alright, so he did the pictorial. Show the pictorial first, right? Hey, where's your pictorial go?
Yeah, I'm sorry, that was the button. Thank you, Kimberly.
Excuse me?
Fix.
You turned it on.
While she's saying that, can I say again how important it is to have different ways of modeling for kids, different ways to do it? Because I understood after she finished the children being the rods and how she changed it up, I understood it. And then when Ben and Chung came behind her, that's the one I said I'm gonna use, because that was clear for me. 2 examples, and I think our kids need that so that they can see and kind of buy into the way that's gonna help make them make connections. And so that's what we did. We agreed we were gonna steal the way they did it, and that's just what we did, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so you,
All right, this one was it said, the yellow represents 1 cup, so we did the 1 cup, 1 cup, 1 cup, I'm sorry. 1 cup, 1 cup, that's why, or 1 cup. That's 3. Then we did,
So how did you know you had 3 cups?
3 cups of cheese.
Is there 3 in that problem? I see 1 4/5 cups of cheese.
These are I should put up your cups.
so the yellow,
This is up here, this is up here.
You're gonna have to be clearer in your language, because I'm
Gotcha.
totally confused as to what you're doing, okay? Where did the 3 come from?
the 3 came from that she made 3 pizzas.
Okay, she made 3 pizzas, and what do we know about each pizza?
Each pizza has 1 4/5 cup of cheese per pizza.
Okay,
So we'll back up.
Okay, Okay.
We're going back, okay? So what we did first, before we did our pictorial, cause you don't call the numbers. So we identified what was 1 4/5 cup, right? And so this was 1 cup,
Slide it up a bit so we can see it, the paper. There you go.
and this was 1 cup, and then we found our 4/5.
Okay.
And these were our 4/5 because, what are they? They're the units. We said this was 4,
Put it on the paper so we can see.
4 of 5 units. So that's 1 4/5 cup of cheese
Good,
per pizza,
okay.
right? That's what we did. And so then we said we need 3 pizzas,
Mhm.
right? And so then we found 3 of these, that's 3 cups, and then we, what did we do? No, we did this.
Mhm.
And we needed 3 of these.
Mhm.
So this, how do we say it?
Unit.
Units. So we got 3 here, now we need 3
Wait,
4/5.
3 what?
3 cups of cheese so far.
Okay,
And now we need 3 4/5 cups of cheese.
okay.
Yes.
So then we put those together and then we made the long one. So this
The
represents,
long one?
okay, we made the total that we needed for 3 pizzas is all of that.
So you put it in a long line.
We put in one long line to represent, that's how much cheese we need per pizza.
Okay. Me too.
That's what we did, right?
Okay. I don't know, I don't have a number. You haven't told me a number now.
We're not there yet,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Was that per pizza?
No, these are all 3 pizzas
Oh,
put
okay.
together.
Thank you, Donna, for reminding me to tell you that.
Yes, it told you to let the yellow rod represent 1 cup of pizza. Was that that yellow broken into segments? If so, how many segments was it broken into?
Oh, this yellow is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay? When you decided that it was broken into 5 units, did you choose a Cuisinart rod that could represent a portion of those 5 units? Or
Yes, we did.
Each of those 5 units? And
No,
which color-
portion.
Which color did you use to represent?
We used red.
2.
Okay, the red, and that was how many units?
4.
That was 4 units.
The red is 4 units?
Yeah.
So,
Well, 2 reds
Two
together.
2 reds.
2 reds together
Okay.
is 4 units.
so for each yellow, so for each yellow Cuisinart rod, how many,
But you talking. Okay.
for each yellow Cuisinart rod, if you were to pair them up, rather than lay them out straight, but to pair them up, how many of those red units would you use per yellow Cuisinart rod?
2 and,
2.
yeah, 2.
So if you were to pair those
Wait a
all
minute.
up together,
Hang on, Tony.
sure,
2 of the red ones
no,
is
Plus-
equal to 1 of the
two
yellow?
Cuisinart rods.
Plus 1.
No.
They said 4 units,
4 units.
4/5. 2 red is
That's not what they said.
That's what they said earlier.
4 units is equivalent, is equal to how much?
Hey, Dr. Browning,
This is your,
I think this also brings up a good point. Y'all aren't done yet, right?
uh,
Okay, cause we were talking about like now we're